A very warm welcome back to today's action-packed aviation news recap. Yes, I know there's always a lot to talk about, but I'd argue in today's episode, which definitely focuses more on the side of Airbus, there's a lot to cover, including delays for the entry into service of a new plane, Airbus outlining its goals for 2024, and a first flight of a new airline with an A380, sort of at least, and that is where I want to start proceedings. Global Airlines in recent days completed its first flight with its first A380 acquired over the Mojave Desert in California. Sort of. Registered as 9HGLOBL, the aircraft departed Mojave at 8:57 in the morning local time before touching back down at 9:17 in the morning, thus a 20-minute flight of this ex-China Southern Airlines A380. Flight data provided by Flight Radar 24 indicates the aircraft completed a circuit around Mojave and came following the aircraft being taxied to the runway the other day in preparation for this. Additionally, a source close to the airfield, an airline had already informed me that engine tests were occurring and that a first flight was seemingly imminent, but given this is a startup, there is a lot of uncertainty over whether this would take place, but it's the confirmation necessary that the plane has got in the air. While a 20-minute flight test occurs, if Global wants this aircraft to head back to the United Kingdom, they'll need to have it in the air for a lot longer than just 20 minutes, with a lengthy transatlantic flight ahead of it. The flight, however, isn't a revenue one, and is not also technically operated by Global Airlines. This is what the company hopes will come later, but with still no AOC and an already massive pushback in launch timeframe and many other visible concerns, many people have their doubts. Global Airlines previously said it fitted 22 new tyres to the aircraft, each weighing 120 kilos. This move was essential to ensure smooth travel and keep the aircraft in the highest quality for its eventual operation and flight back to its home in the United Kingdom. The airline, you may recall, said it had taken 100% ownership of MSN 120 at the beginning of February and had registered the aircraft. This meant that the startup bought an A380 without any lease or financing. However, the startup's purchase of the aircraft has led to much confusion, considering the company said it had already acquired a handful of A380s last year. Analysts still argue that buying while an achievement is one thing, actually running a profitable business is another one, and until then, it is merely a fantasy airline. Just for some background, Global wants to become an industry leader and give long-established legacy airlines a run for their money. Using an all-Airbus A380 fleet, it'll call London Gatwick home and look to offer services globally. Analysts and onlookers have severely doubted the plans outlined by the prospective airline, really focusing in on its business model, finances, and general future plan, among many other areas. However, getting this ex-China Southern Airlines A380 in the sky in whatever capacity it has done, many believed wouldn't happen, so that is a step at least in the right direction. On to the next story of today, and that is Airbus's upcoming A321XLR, which we know is set to reshape single-aisle long-haul travel, has had its entry into service once more delayed, pushing back towards the second half of 2024. The fresh delays will see Airbus target an EIS. EIS for short is entry into service of Q3 2024, a pushback from the previously targeted Q2 2024. However, these delays aren't ultimately the first niggle that the plane maker has felt with their new extra long-ranged single-aisle type. Previously, you may actually recall that the A321XLR was expected to fly with Airlines in 2023. However, it encountered substantial delays to this EIS thanks to concerns around the additional fuel tank and safety risks involved. You can throw in the very general certification delays that also come with getting a new plane into the skies too. As a result of these concerns, Airbus said it was pushing the EIS from 2023 to 2024, and now the Q3 entry into service is the latest minor delay for the new plane. The news of the delay came as the manufacturer reported its full-year financial results and essential 2024 guidance. Let's focus on that rear center tank. It is an enhancement, and it allows the new variant to reach up to 4,700 nautical miles in range. So it's essential, as without the tank, the range capabilities that have been a huge selling point, might I add, for the aircraft, would not be possible, as the manufacturer was, yes, forced to address concerns concerns over this RCT, there was the speculation that Airbus would potentially need to play around with the aircraft's weight to reinforce the type. But I'm sure, as you know, if further weight were to be added to essentially reinforce the area I speak of, then the range capabilities of the jet would likely be decreased. At least that is what was being reported around a year and a half ago. And with additional weight, well, then there would have been decreases in the range, like I said, and the gap between the XLR and LR would significantly close. Once the XLR does enter service, it is expected to be hugely important, with customers already flocking to order the type during its first launch week. Airlines such as Indigo, American, and Qantas, among others, have all committed to the new single-aisle jet to help advance their own narrow-body offering. The type's capabilities are, it has to be said, hugely enticing for airlines as they look towards enhancing their network, while alleviating some of the pressures off their existing planes, whether this is narrow or wide body. Additionally, with Boeing not proceeding with their middle-of-the-market entry, Airbus has a real accessible pathway to capture most of the market in this sector, and thus it can offer new iterations of its popular A321neo, an already certified jet, to entice customers into the program. I will be closely following the entry into service date and timeframe for the A321XLR, no doubt, as 2024 moves ahead. Sticking with Airbus and following a solid 2023, they saw revenues climb 11% year over year, and they're now targeting 800 commercial aircraft deliveries for the 2024 calendar year. This is an increase from the 735 units delivered in 2023, which was above the previously laid out expectations of 720. 2023 was also Airbus's first year in a while of actually meeting these expectations. In 2022, it did fall short of its yearly delivery goal, and we know that 2020 and 2021 were probably years you'd like to forget. Airbus says it's enjoying substantial demand right across the company, but ensuring that it has a balance between the supply chain and demand is another crucial factor. If demand outweighs the supply chain's capability, well, the plane maker would scramble to deliver planes on time, and don't get me wrong, it is already doing this, but it would be far more worse. In 2023, the manufacturer said it was able to see revenues tally 65.4 billion euros, which was an 11% rise from 2022's performance. Really focusing on the commercial aircraft activities, there was a 15% revenue increase. Why? Well, it was primarily because of the higher delivery tally year over year, as Airbus continues to work towards a more even playing field. In the future, we'll be seeing aircraft programs ramp up in terms of production. 2024 will be another important year as the A330 family sees increases. But really what is going to be a landmark year will be 2026, with several aircraft programs working their way up to reaching their end production goal at this point, whether it is a narrow body or a wide body. As you know, and like I always say, I will be closely following Airbus's and Boeing's movements throughout 2024. It's what you've come to expect. So I'm sure in a blink of an eye, we'll be at the end of this year, given just how quickly time flies, and we'll have to take a look. Did Airbus hit that 800 delivery goal? January was a very solid month, if you may recall. They actually smashed their previous January tally, and they'll be looking to build upon that as the year only heats up. That's going to conclude today's aviation news recap. If you have any thoughts, well, you know you're more than welcome to drop them down below in the comments. Thank you very much for your support here on the channel. It certainly does mean a lot. Please take care. Do also be safe. I'll see you same place, same time tomorrow for your latest industry developments. And we'll fly.